And the 14th day of the first month at even is Yah's Passover. If you notice, he said 14 days. The 14th day of the first month. We know the month of Abib is the first month of the year.
Right.
And we have to take into consideration when we do days, it starts from the evening before. So that is the reason why we're starting the Passover on the 13th at evening.
Thank you, brother.
You're welcome.
Praise God. And again, Shalom, brothers. We are in a different format this evening, but praise God for that.
Mm-hmm.
So again, my name is Yehuda ben Israel, and again, we've already spoken, brother. Again, they know who you are.
Uriah ben Israel.
Obadiah ben Israel.
Definitely praise God, brother Obi. Praise God, Shalom.
They were missing some sound.
Okay, so we may have had some technical difficulty. What part of that were we?
They missed the Shema.
They missed the Shema? Okay. I guess for purposes, do you want to go back over that? I guess we can keep moving. Okay. You can basically say, well, again, we had some technical difficulties. So we did read the Shema for those who are tuning in now. Just tuning in, Elder Uriah read the Shema. But, when you read what the Mashiach said about the law, on those two things that he said, the Shema and loving your neighbor as yourself, on these two hang both the law and the prophets.
Mm-hmm.
And love. But before this whole night is about love. This whole night is about love. But many times, love is a stumbling block.
Of course.
For many people. Can you imagine that? Love is a stumbling block. But see, if Yahweh didn't love us, he loved Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And you're going to see, we're going to read out the book, that he kept the covenant. And we're his people. There's no getting around it. We're Yahweh's people. And you're going to walk in the commandments and walk in the spirit of what Yeshua wrought for us on that torture state, right? You're going to do that, or it's going to be required of you. Mm-hmm. See, we don't talk about the required of you part that Moshe talked about, right? In Deuteronomy 18. Mm-hmm. Is that right, Obi? That's right. We talked about that. Moshe said it. Mm-hmm. I'm going to send, Yahweh's going to send somebody like unto me. Mm-hmm. His words are going to be in him. And if you don't do what he tells you to do, it's going to be required of you. Meaning,
that's what we're supposed to model ourselves.
That's what we model ourselves. We got to model ourselves after the Messiah, the Christ. Because he's going to ask you, what happened to you? Right? Mm-hmm. Why didn't you model yourself after me? Mm-hmm. Well, I didn't know. You had everything. You had the law and the prophets, right? Mm-hmm. The scriptures. Scriptures, everything. Scriptures, gospel, epistles, teachers. But you got caught up in stumbling block of love, right?
Yeah,
you couldn't love nobody.
But yeah, you know what, my elder? I just want Revelation chapter 3, verse 20. Mm-hmm. If you don't mind, 22.
Go ahead.
He said, he that has
Say that again. What were you again?
Revelation chapter 3, verse 22. He said, he that has an ear, let him hear what the Spirit says unto the churches.
Right.
So, even though we maybe read the law, not everyone ever here to hear the law. So pretty much they don't even know what is law.
Right.
So it's our job to teach them what is love.
Right. Exactly. What is love? Because you miss that, everything you do, and Saul talked about it. We don't care how much you're preaching. Mm-hmm. We don't care how much you're feeding the poor. Mm-hmm. It don't matter any works you are doing. If there's no love with it, you're doing it in vain.
That's right.
And you're doing it in vain, and you're getting the reward of men and women. Pat you on the back. You're a good sister. But you know what? But only Yahweh knows what's in their heart, right?
That's right.
So I can't say to you, you ain't got no love in you. Right? Mm-hmm. So you can't say that. You can't look at me and say, I don't love you. That's why that 10th commandment is so deep. That coveting. Don't covet. Well, how do you know if you're coveting? Nobody can look at you and say, you've been coveting, right? Yahweh knows that.
Yep.
Right? So, but praise God for Yahweh's love. And let's just jump right into it, my brothers, about showing Yahweh's act of love to his people and what this night is all about. In the book, let's go to the book of Exodus. And we're not going to talk all night. We're going to let people eat the feast. But we want to just show you what is written. Because we didn't write it. This is our fathers. This is our history. So let's start in the book. We're going to go into 11, Uriah, and then Obadiah, you'll pick up 12. But we're going to just give you the background. Pharaoh, Moshe, is giving Pharaoh fits. Yahweh is giving fits, but they can only see Moshe. And he put those plagues on him. Right? And now he's getting ready to wrap it up with this one. So if you mind, Elder, go to 11 and Obi, give you 12.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Start at 12, I should say.
You want me to pick up at verse 1?
Yeah, let's start with verse 1. So they can understand what Yahweh did. Because we got our Sabbath class where we say Exodus, it's entitled Exodus, a nation out of a nation.
That's it.
So then this is what Yahweh is wrapping it up now. He's wrapping things up with them.
Let's pick it up at Exodus chapter 11, verse 1. And Yahweh said unto Moshe, Yet will I bring one plague more upon Pharaoh and upon Egypt. Afterward he will let you go hence. When he shall let you go, he shall surely thrust you out hence altogether. Speak now in the ears of the people, and let every man borrow of his neighbor, and every woman of his neighbor jewels of silver, jewels of gold. And Yahweh gave the people favor in the sight of the Egyptian. Moreover, the man Moshe was very great in the land of Egypt, in the sight of Pharaoh's servants, and in the sight of the people.
Yahweh made him a God to him.
That's right.
Okay. Verse 4. And Moshe said, Thus said Yahweh, about midnight will I go out into the midst of Egypt, and all the firstborn in the land of Egypt shall die, from the firstborn of Pharaoh that sitteth upon his throne, even unto the firstborn of the maidservant that is behind the mill, and all the firstborn of beasts. And there shall be a great cry throughout all the land of Egypt, such as there was none like it, nor shall be like it any more. But against any of the children of Israel shall not a dog move his tongue. Against man or beast, that he shall know how that Yahweh does put a difference between the Egyptian and Israel.
And I think, pause that, but that's something we got to understand today. Yahweh has put a difference between us and all the nations.
That's right.
Now, it may look like we are getting, and we are, right? We're getting, our people have been drinking from the cup with bitterness and the fury of Yahweh for a while now.
That's right.
But that doesn't mean what you think it means. Go ahead, Obi, I'm sorry.
No, it's supposed to be so.
It's supposed to be so.
That's right.
Right. So, but he's made a difference because we're his children. And we say this all the time, Uriah, right?
Yeah.
Your children are your children. You give your children directives, right? What do you expect?
I expect them to follow it. And if they don't, yeah, there comes the punishment.
Right. But now, when Ariel, my daughter, is doing something, now you might, as a brother, say, hey, what you doing that? That's wrong, stop. But the reality is, you know what? It don't matter what mine, but you know yours better not be doing it. Because they know the consequences.
Of course.
I have to step in as her father and address her. Why are you breaking my law? But now, what if the daughter and the children say, well, you ain't got no law. Really, Papa. We just do what we want to do. But see, you don't worship a God like that. The true and living Elohim, right? You got it. So he's made a difference. And you go up into Amos 3, right?
Mm-hmm.
He says that. Says, speak up loud, brother. Lay it out. Praise God. You have I known all the families of the earth. Therefore I should do what? I will punish you.
No two can't walk together unless they agree.
And that's the very next verse. Two can't walk together.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know all the nations. I separated you. And this is what he's doing here. He separated. He made that first thing right there in verse 7.
Mm-hmm.
Right? But go ahead, brother. You know, what's the difference?
We're in the book of Exodus chapter 11, verse 8. On all these thy servant shall come down unto me, and bow down thyself unto me, saying, Get thee out, and all the people that follow thee, and afterward that I will go out. And he went out from Pharaoh in a great anger. And Yahweh said unto Moshe, Pharaoh shall not harden unto you, that my wonders may be multiplied in the land of Egypt. And Moshe and Aaron did all these wonders before Pharaoh, and Yahweh hardened Pharaoh's heart so that he would not let the children of Israel go out of the land.
So now remember here now, when you see Moshe and Aaron, Aaron is delivering the message.
Mm-hmm.
It's Aaron doing the talking. Because he always say, Aaron, you're going to be the mouthpiece. You're going to be a prophet. And Moshe, you're going to be your El. So it's Aaron doing all the talking, right?
That's right.
And brother, what did you say? What did we say last week in the Shabbat service about how Yahweh do things? He does decent in order.
Well, he declares the beginning.
There it is. He declares the what?
He declares the end.
Yeah, that's what I know. But yeah, he declares the end from the beginning. So he's in the very beginning of this, when Moshe got his instructions at the burning bush, Yahweh had already laid out the situation.
Mm-hmm. And he already went to Aaron as well. He's already spoken to your brother.
He already spoke to your brother. So let's get it going.
That's right.
So Yahweh got this thing. So remember, Yahweh is able, he controls the hearts of the king, right?
That's right.
So we got to be careful. Because even in our interaction with our brothers and sisters, that Yahweh don't harden our heart against love. So you can be set up. Yahweh can set you up.
That's right.
You get set up for the kill. And you thinking, no, Yahweh did that to you. You got set up. He gave you an opportunity to correct something.
Mm-hmm.
Tap you on the shoulder. Tap, 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 tap. But see, this Elohim is the real deal.
Mm-hmm.
So Pharaoh didn't stand a chance. But he was doing it to do what? To get that glory out of it.
That's right.
If I got to beat you down to make an example. Wow. I don't want to be like that no more. I think Yahweh did enough for me like that. So in my life as an individual. So I think I'm trying to listen now. I think everybody's trying to listen the best way we can. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So brother, go ahead and move on, brother Exodus, to Exodus 12, brother Obadiah.
Yes, sir. Exodus chapter 12, verse 1. And Yahweh spake unto Moshe and Aaron in the land of Egypt, saying, This month shall be unto you the beginning of months. It shall be the first month of the year to you. Speak you unto all the congregation of Israel, saying, In the 10th day of this month they shall take to them every man a lamb, according to the house of their fathers, a lamb for a house. And if the household be too little for the lamb, let him and his neighbor next unto his house take it according to the number of the souls. Every man according to his eating shall make your count for the lamb. Your lamb shall be without blemish, a male of the first year. You shall take it out from the sheep or from the goats, and you shall keep it up until the 14th day of the same month, and the whole assembly of the congregation of Israel shall kill it in the evening. And they shall take of the blood, and strike it on the 2 side posts, and on the upper post of the houses, wherein they shall eat it. And they shall eat the flesh in that night, roast with fire and unleavened bread.
Okay.
And with bitter herbs they shall eat it.
Mm-hmm.
Eat not of it raw, nor sodden at all with water, but roast with fire, his head, with his legs, and with the purtenance thereof. And you shall let nothing of it remain until the morning. and that which remaineth of it until the morning you shall burn with fire.
So we got to observe that this evening. That's why, after we eat this meal, eat as much as Yahweh provides for the Passover. But after that, once we have to throw it out. No leftovers. No plates. We get a plate for Big Mama and my uncle, and cousin. No, you can't do that here. Praise God.
But you know what, my elder, you have some brothers that would say, and we have to keep this Passover according to how Israel, people in the land of Israel. But this Passover, the first Passover they kept, wasn't in Israel. It was in Egypt.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
But then that argument about you can't keep the Passover, you can't keep the feast days unless you're in your land. So that don't hold up. Because they observed the Passover and they were not inside their land.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's
and
right.
They left out on the bread.
See why it's important for us to get in that book and read, because people might have heaped up teachers to yourselves, but the issue is you're freestyling. They might be freestyling, and you can't. And the freestyle gets so good, I guess, that you can't even open the book and say, well, but this is what it says. Well, you can get out. We don't care what it says.
It becomes religion.
It's religion. It's religion, and then we got the religion. That's tradition. And then Yahshua speak about the traditions of men. He said, "Now your traditions are making the law of Yahweh
of none effect."
Praise God.
Yeah.
See,
that's why it's important as to what you had brought up at the beginning before we even began the class.
Right.
Because we understand that the Passover was all tied to Yahshua. It was a shadow of things to come.
That's right.
That's right.
Exactly.
But then Yahshua, he magnified the law and he spoke on the weightier matters of the law.
That's right.
That's correct.
Praise God for that, because Yahshua is showing us that everything must be done decently and in order, but not just that. He says, I'm the master of the Sabbath. So he's showing us, this is how I want you to do things.
Right.
When we go in the book of Matthew, he says,
I say. That's correct. Praise God for
Powerful, man. You don't speak as the other prophets.
Yeah, he spoke with it.
Of course.
All the prophets end with me. This is a rap. I'm him. I'm that prophet. Are you that prophet? No, Isaiah wasn't that prophet.
Right. This is that guy.
This is the guy. That's the guy.
So the whole entire book is pointing toward the Messiah. That's where everything ends.
That's right, Ryan. Praise God for that. That's exactly right. And you continue, brother.
Yes, sir.
Praise God for that discussion, those comments.
Exodus chapter 12, verse 11. And thus shall you eat it with your loins girded, with shoes on your shoes on your feet, and your staff in your hand, and you shall eat it in haste. It is Yahweh's Passover. For I will pass through the land of Egypt this night, and will smite with all the firstborn in the land of Egypt, both man and beast. And against all the gods of Egypt I will execute judgment.
Okay.
I am Yahweh. And the blood shall be to you for a token upon the houses where you are. And when I see the blood, I will pass over you. And the plague shall not be upon you to destroy you when I smite the land of Egypt. And this day shall be unto you for a memorial. And you shall keep it a feast to Yahweh throughout your generations. You shall keep it a feast by an ordinance forever.
Okay. Okay. Read that again, verse 14.
Yes, sir. And this day shall be unto you for a memorial. And you shall keep it a feast to Yahweh throughout your generations. You shall keep it a feast by an ordinance forever.
Uriah, are there any conditions or exceptions listed there?
I don't see so far.
So does it say, it has to say, except if you be in the land of your, out of the land. Right?
You can go this far when you go into the law book. It says,
In all the dwellings. See, so you can't get over that. You can't get away from this. See, only thing different is Yahweh just had mercy on you and woke you up in this land and brought you out of blindness in this land. That's all Yahweh. That's what you should be thankful. And then you start creating, I'm going to create different components to this thing. Maybe you ought to just be the most important thing, brothers. Maybe you ought to just read, just follow an instruction. That might keep you alive. That may keep trouble out your home. Why don't you just do that? Then when trouble comes, you can't understand where it comes from. You add it to the law, and you take it from it. But you put yourself in a curse. You just don't add to this.
The missing ingredient was what? Obedience.
Obedience.
That was the missing
That's it.
ingredient amongst our fathers. You know, they knew the law.
They knew it.
They spoke evil.
Right.
They knew the tribe they were from.
Mm-hmm.
They knew all that, right?
Right.
That's right.
But
They spoke Hebrew. They knew the tribe. I follow what you're saying.
obedience was the missing ingredient. So the cake didn't come out correct.
Yeah, you gotta put that cake in there. You gotta put this thing in, like love in that thing.
Yeah.
But you gotta be the obedience to Yahweh that is love. Yahshua said, if you love me,
You keep my commandment.
if you don't love him, you're not keeping his commandments. Yahshua's commandments. So I can look at you and tell you what kind of love, but I can look at you and tell you if you got the love in you, because you're gonna bear that fruit.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna see if that light's in you. People see light in you, there might be some darkness in you. We can't, it's a little darkness in them. Let's gotta purge that darkness out so you can get to the light. We're gonna be the keepers of the house of light. Yahshua is that light. So we're trying to keep the ways of the Mashiach, right? That's all we're trying to do. Ain't nobody no great one. But continue, brother Obadiah.
Yes, sir. Verse 15. 7 days shall you eat unleavened bread. Even the first day shall you put away all leaven out of your houses. For whosoever eateth leavened bread from the first day until the 7th day, that soul shall be cut off from Israel. And in the first day there shall be a holy convocation, and in the 7th day there shall be a holy convocation to you. No manner of work shall be done in them, save that which every man must eat. That only may be done of you.
That's very clear. The Feast of Unleavened Bread, that evening, that day is a Sabbath, right?
Mm-hmm.
No work. If you're able to do it in this land.
Verse 17. And you shall observe the feast of unleavened bread, for in this selfsame day have I brought your armies out of the land of Egypt. Therefore shall you observe this day in your generations by an ordinance forever. In the first month, on the 14th day of the month at even, you shall eat unleavened bread, until the 21st day of the month at even. 7 days shall there be no leaven found in your houses. For whosoever eateth that which is leavened, even that soul shall be cut off from the congregation of Israel, whether he be a stranger or born in the land. You shall eat nothing leavened. In all your habitations shall you eat unleavened bread. Then Moshe called for all the elders of Israel, and said unto them, Draw out, and take you a lamb according to your families, and kill the Passover.
So the lamb is the Passover, right?
That's right.
Okay. The lamb of Elohim, right? Shadow things to come, right? Praise Yah.
You know what, my deacon, if we go back to verse 19, we see that he said, For whosoever eateth that which is leavened, even that soul shall be cut off from the congregation of Israel.
Okay.
We know we use extinguisher in the house.
Right. Fire
So
extinguisher.
don't throw it out, please.
Don't throw that out.
Don't throw it away.
He said eating. Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
so,
you know, brother, I have to confess, I when I first got this truth, I tossed out a fire extinguisher, a little mini one.
Yeah,
Because I didn't know. It was so radical.
Yeah.
So it was like no leaven. But again, you got to come back and read the book too.
Yeah.
See, but we were being told, and you know, but it says eating. Leaven, which is eating. Don't eat it.
Right.
Don't eat the leaven.
But we've all gone through that, the extremes, but the leaven that was supposed to be removed was in the heart. That's
Correct.
where the issue was. So you throw
Right.
out all the leaven in the house and keep it in the heart. But what good is that?
It doesn't make any sense. The whole entire house.
Yeah, we don't see that.
Right.
Yeah.
You just go on carbohydrate, with a carb-free lifestyle. That's all that meant for a couple of days, for 24 hours. You know, carbs in you. But you still bitter, mad, and angry.
Oh.
Might slap me. I don't want to use the word slap. They might reflect back on current events. But let me just, let's keep it moving. Let me shut up. I don't want to get nobody in trouble.
Verse 22. And you shall take a bunch of hyssop and dip it in the blood that is in the basin, and strike the lintel and the 2 side posts with the blood that is in the basin.
Okay.
And none of you shall go out at the door of his house until the morning.
Oh boy, that's an instruction. Now, you know we hate having that now. I got to go out there and check my car. I left my wallet out there in the truck. I got to go. Man, supposed to stay inside. They're gonna find you laid out somewhere in the morning. You can't follow the instruction. You know how difficult that is for us?
I know.
Now that's that, but you know what? They didn't come out. But you know, sometimes we that way. Very clear instructions. Do not go out. There's been a martial law in place. Do not go out. It's a curfew. And about 25 people outside. And then why were you out there in the beginning? They shot my son. Why was your son outside? Well, be obedient. They got arrested. Be obedient. Like you said earlier, obedience is that, you know, that missing ingredient.
And also, they had to, the blood, it wasn't to be trodden under the foot of man. They put it on the bottom of the floor.
Okay, that's interesting.
To the side of the post.
Yeah.
Right. Great job for that. It's holy, man. All these things are being holy. A shadow of things to come.
Okay.
That's what you said earlier.
Verse 23. For Yahweh will pass through to smite the Egyptians, and when he seeth the blood upon the lintel and on the two side posts, Yahweh will pass over the door, and will not suffer the destroyer to come in unto your houses to smite you. And you shall observe this thing for an ordinance to thee and to thy sons forever. And it shall come to pass, when you be come to the land which Yahweh will give you, according as he has promised you, that you shall keep this service. And it shall come to pass, when your children shall say unto you, what mean you by this service? That you shall say, it is the sacrifice of Yahweh's Passover, who passed over the houses of the children of Israel in Egypt, when he smote the Egyptians and delivered our houses. And the people bowed the head and worshipped. And the children of Israel went away and did as Yahweh had commanded Moshe and Aaron, so did they. And it came to pass that at midnight Yahweh smote all the firstborn in the land of Egypt.
Wow.
From the firstborn of Pharaoh that sat on his throne unto the firstborn of the captive that was in the dungeon, and all the firstborn of cattle. And Pharaoh rose up in the night, he and all his servants, and all the Egyptians, and there was a great cry in Egypt. For there was not a house where there was not one dead.
Can you imagine a calamity like that today? Could you imagine? How many millions of people in America right now?
330?
200 million, 300 million
330
people.
million.
You know, and all of a sudden, all the firstborn. The firstborn, if you were the firstborn, you're dead. No matter if you're 56, you got to go. Right? Firstborn are dead. Firstborn of everything. Right? And your Elohim has declared it through a prophet. And so the king is like what they say. We were laughing about the rap group, the shook ones. We were laughing. We were talking about that the other night. He shook. He said, what can he do with this? He trembled by it. Everybody screaming in the middle of the night. Mothers passing out.
Even the cattle.
Even the cattle. Even the cattle. Cattle down. Continue, brother.
Yes, sir. Exodus chapter 12, verse 31. And he called for Moshe and Aaron by night and said, rise up and get you forth from among my people, both you and the children of Israel, and go, serve Yahweh as you have said. Also take your flocks and your herds as you have said, and be gone, and bless me also.
Oh, see, bless me, man. Don't curse me.
That's right.
Get on out of here. See?
Verse 33. And the Egyptians were urgent upon the people that they might send them out of the land in haste. For they said, we be all dead men. And the people took their dough before it was leavened, their kneading troughs being bound up in their clothes upon their shoulders. And the children of Israel did according to the word of Moshe. And they borrowed of the Egyptians jewels of silver and jewels of gold and raiment. And Yahweh gave the people favor in the sight of the Egyptians, so that they lent unto them such things as they required, and they spoiled the Egyptians. And the children of Israel journeyed from Ramses to Succoth, about 600,000 on foot, that were men, besides children.
Okay, you got 600 men, right? 600,000 men.
Mm-hmm.
And so you got the children, and the, not counting the children and the women, right? So you might have 1 million people coming out of there, possibly, right? More than likely it is.
Yeah.
It's usually more women than the men.
More than men, yeah.
So you're going to see that. Be a big figure.
Verse 38. And a mixed multitude went up also with them, and flocks and herds, even very much cattle. And they baked unleavened cakes of the dough which they brought forth out of Egypt, for it was not leavened, because they were thrust out of Egypt and could not tarry. Neither had they prepared for themselves any victual. Now the sojourning of the children of Israel, who dwelt in Egypt, was 430 years.
So the term sojourn means to reside somewhere, right? So you're right, is this the 430 years? Is this the time period that Yahweh gave Abraham prophetically in Genesis 15:13?
No, this is totally different, different thing he's talking about. He said 400 years to Abraham.
Okay.
Not 430. Yahweh don't make that mistake.
Okay. And that would be 400 years. He told Abraham that would be 400 years of affliction.
Mm-hmm.
That's right.
That's right.
So that means when you go in, right? Go ahead, I'm sorry.
No, I was going to say, when you go into that land or into your captivity, you're going to be on a severe, pressure or treatment for 400 years.
Day one.
Constantly.
Year one. Day one, year one. For 400 years, right?
That's correct.
It's like in this land when they give you a lot of jail time, when you're sentenced to a sentence.
Mm-hmm.
And, and so you've been given 35 years.
Hard labor.
Right? And hard labor, and they say you're going to serve it. They must say, and you're going to take that to the wall.
Wow.
You're going to do every day of the 35 years.
Is that federal time?
State, federal, yeah.
Okay.
If it's federal, you're gonna run it.
All the way.
Yeah. Now, if you die in the interim, that's on you. Right? But so Yahweh meant what he said. You say you don't make mistakes.
No.
So when you do the math and look at this, Moshe was born right during the tribulation of the children of Israel, when Pharaoh was putting all those edicts of killing the children. The affliction started at some period, and at some point, they started with the killing of the newborn, right? The male boys. Throw them in the river. Because the midwives would not do it, right?
That's correct.
Pua and Shipher.
Shipher, yeah.
And those sisters' names were memorialized. So come on now, you get the women their props. They did that on the penalty of death.
Of course.
The king, you disobeyed the king, but Yahweh gave him a quick spirit, a quick wit. I'm sorry about that. The Hebrew women are more lively than the Egyptian women. When they come to the stool, the Hebrews don't get birth. It's too, I couldn't even get to them because they'll fake it. You know what that means? So that's why you got to watch your children sometimes when you're giving birth in these hospitals.
That's correct.
Because you mess around, something can happen.
Yeah.
They get the baby, you don't know. That's why you need to be watching. I was in the room, but I didn't want to see all the birth. But I was watching the whole time. They had the little incubator in the room. We watched it.
Switch your baby.
I moved right over there. Switch my baby, hurt my baby, anything.
Mm-hmm.
Because you don't know what's in the spirit of people to do.
Yeah.
You never know what they put their minds on,
Yeah.
So we got to be aware of that. We got to be what? Wise. Wise. It don't mean you're saying everybody's going to do wicked towards you. But wisdom, what it says is the spirit, it requires that of us. Wisdom. And discernment. We got to have that. But let's keep on reading. And let's see what's going on. So they've been in the land 430 years in verse 41, right?
Yes, sir. Verse 41. And it came to pass at the end of the 430 years, even the selfsame day, it came to pass that all the host of Yahweh went out from the land of Egypt.
Right.
It is a night to be much observed unto Yahweh for bringing them out from the land of Egypt. This is that night of Yahweh to be observed of all the children of Israel in their generations.
See, that's it, right? You just said, you said it again. It's a night to be much observed unto Yahweh for bringing them out of the land of Egypt. Now we're in an Egyptian captivity now. We're finishing up this 400-year captivity toward this fourth generation. So one of these days it's gonna come to pass, and we can go there, but not right now. But it's gonna say we're not gonna be focusing on the Egyptian captivity past deliverance. We're gonna be saying, "Blessed is Elohim who brought the children up out of the north country, of the northland." See, that's what we're waiting on. But we're gonna observe and do what He said do this Passover. So we got a day to look forward to as well. But continue, Brother Obadiah.
Yes, sir. Verse 43. And Yahweh said unto Moshe and Aaron, This is the ordinance of the Passover. There shall no stranger eat thereof.
Okay.
But every man's servant that is bought for money, when thou hast circumcised him, then shall he eat thereof. A foreigner and a hired servant shall not eat thereof. In one house shall it be eaten. Thou shalt not carry forth aught of the flesh abroad out of the house, neither shall you break a bone thereof.
Okay.
All the congregation of Israel shall keep it. And when a stranger shall sojourn with you, and will keep the Passover to Yahweh, let all his males be circumcised, and then let him come near and keep it. And he shall be as one that is born in the land. For no uncircumcised person shall eat thereof.
Okay.
One law shall be to him that is homeborn, and unto the stranger that sojourneth among you. Thus did all the children of Israel, as Yahweh commanded Moshe and Aaron, so did they. And it came to pass the selfsame day that Yahweh did bring the children of Israel out of the land of Egypt by their armies.
But then Yahweh tell Jacob He was going to they're going to get him out. And Joseph told him, "Oh, you're going to leave. But just take my bones with you when it's time to go, so that I won't be in a bad situation." So, but verse 49, one law for Israel and one law for the stranger that sojourns with us and meet those categories. After been circumcised, etc. But have the other nations dealt with us with one law for everybody? No, they're various. It's one law around here, but it's applied differently. So that's another issue. But so you know you're not there's no justice, right? So you know you have to be very circumspect on how you do things in this land. And matter of fact, not only in this land, in other land, they're going to treat you disparately. You know, because they're not. What do they do when we hear about people in the other land? Well, our people get on the exit trains first to get out. You gotta wait, right? We hear about that, but that's just a political thing. But that's in the Ukraine, for example. They got out. They didn't want to get out, but they did get out. They take care of their nationals first. They're not taking care of human beings first, right? So this is what we see here. But now Yahweh gave the law, right? To do this forever. Go ahead.
You know what, my elder, I was looking at verse 48. We do know that circumcision is, a very, very expensive, apparatus to perform. But we know that the Most High is a merciful Elohim. And, I know if you do not have insurance, it's going to hit your pocket real deep.
Right.
So, but, don't worry too much about it. Let's ask the Most High to forgive you and move on. But remember, in case if you get the chance to go into the wilderness, you will be circumcised because you cannot go into the land uncircumcised.
With a brother holding a knife or a flint. with no anesthesia.
Well,
so you might want to do it here.
he has given, our
a knife or flint.
No, I'm just saying. He has given our forefathers, the knowledge and the way to go about doing it, before they, went into the land.
Oh, no.
Initially, so, don't worry about it. When we get into the wilderness, we're going to get that spirit too.
But, You know, and with that, brother, I always, you know, you're right. But I also say, like you mentioned, if you have the insurance, and the resources, well, go ahead and do it.
Yeah.
Because most of the time, when we want something, we'll find a way to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh. In my opinion, you know, if you want something, you'll find a way to get that done. If you want to get a new car or a new something.
Like, is it Michael Jordan or whatever? Man, they joined the line like the night before.
Exactly.
To pay for a shoe. Exactly. Of a $500 or $1,000. I don't know, man.
Right. But you're right. But Paul said, basically what you're saying, you know, what is that circumcision if you're not walking in the spirit of the law?
That's right.
You're breaking everything else. So your circumcision, and you got a circumcision, yeah, you keep all the, like we said, the holy days, you do, but your heart not circumcised.
It's the same people we're talking about the letter.
There's nothing. That's that sin in you, bro. So here we are, we've all read where Yahweh has memorialized this as to keep this forever. But there's a certain point, our fathers, let's see, did they keep this law the way they should? Let's look and see, did they always keep the Passover? Right? And let's just go explore that. Let's go to 2 Kings. Let's go to chapter 22. And then and when you get there, and as you know, most of us, if you've been studying this word, you know that the people, Israel, that is hard-headed, stiff-necked kind of people, our fathers. And we're cut from the same cloth. And so I can't say that they're so bad when I look at ourselves. Okay, so we're going to continue we're going to go to 2 Kings chapter 22. And let's give you a little background. It's King Josiah's reign, right? And something's going to be brought before King Josiah and the people, and it's kind of trips you out a little bit. And I think that's the right chapter. Let's go to, chapter 22, 2 Kings chapter 22, verse 1. And how much time are we looking at right now, brother? How much time are we looking at? Okay, so how long have we been doing? Okay, time's flying. But we're going to move on. But let's just do a little bit of what's going on here with Josiah, okay, and see what the problem was.
Repeat about verse 1?
Yeah, let's go ahead and cover that.
We're in the book of 2 Kings chapter 22, verse 1. Josiah was 8 years old when he began to reign, and he reigned 31 years in Jerusalem. And his mother's name was Jediah, the daughter of Adiah of Baspal. And he did that which was right in the sight of Yahweh, and walked in all the way of David his father, and turned not aside to the right hand or to the left.
That's right.
And it came to pass in the 18th year of King Josiah that the king sent Shaphan, the son of Zaaliah, the son of Meshullam, the scribe, to the house of Yahweh, saying, Go out to Hilkiah, the high priest, that he may sum the silver which is brought into the house of Yahweh, which the keepers of the door gather of the people, and let them deliver it into the hands of the doers of the work that have the oversight of the house of Yahweh, and let them give it to the doers of the work which is in the house of Yahweh, to repair the breaches of the house, and to carpenters and builders and masons, and to buy timber and hewn stone to repair the house. Albeit there was not reckoned made with them of the money that was delivered into their hand, because they dealt faithfully.
Okay. So now we kind of do some repairs, making sure those repairs, that maintenance is done on the temple, or the house of Yahweh, right? So, but now what's going to happen in verse 8? Something kicks in.
Okay, verse 8. And Hilkiah the high priest said unto Shaphan, the scribe, I have found the book of the law in the house of Yahweh. And Hilkiah gave the book to Shaphan, and he read it. And Shaphan the scribe came to the king, and brought the king word again, and said, Thy servant hath gathered the money that was found in the house, and have delivered it into the hand of them that do the work, that have the oversight of the house of Yahweh. And Shaphan the scribe showed the king, saying, Hilkiah, the priest, hath delivered me a book. And Shaphan read it before the king.
So now they done found the book of Yahweh. It's like it's amazing. And we don't found this book. What's going on? This is amazing. These are the holy people. We just read what Yahweh had said, that this is a memorial to you. You got to do forever. Okay.
But you know what? It's no different from today, time. Because our people would not pick up the book and read it.
Right. And it's
so
right
what's so different?
Right. It's laid out for you.
Yeah. Verse 11. And it came to pass, when the king had heard the word of the book of the law, that he rent his clothes.
So he just freaked out. He tore his clothes.
Yeah.
Tore his garment.
Verse 12. And the king commanded Hilkiah the priest, and Achaiam the son of Shaphan, and Akbar the son of Micaiah, and Shaphan the scribe, and Asaiah a servant of the king, saying, Go ye, inquire of Yahweh for me, and for the people, and for all Yehudah, concerning the words of this book that is found. For great is the wrath of Yahweh that is kindled against us, because our fathers have not hearkened unto the word of this book, to do according unto all that which is written concerning us.
You see how the curses kick in? See, that's how you can be cursed up to the third and fourth generation. The father, if you don't keep the law and teach it, and you don't teach your children about the law, and so forth and so on. That's how we stated. That's how Yahweh set it up over here. You had to be taken from the law to fulfill the scripture for those curses to go through.
Right.
So this is, and they picked up on that very quickly. Oh my goodness, we are our fathers, fathers, not mama, our fathers, not grandma, not Aunt Missy, our fathers. Don't be so we get caught up today. That woman you gave me, that sounds familiar, don't it? That woman you gave me, that sounds like Adam.
Yeah,
that woman
not gonna work anymore, man.
Woman, you're right, the woman. What about you? What about you? You're gonna be one held to the standard.
Why not you? Why not you?
Deacon, not no, she's your, no, you are covered if you're married.
Okay.
Right? So if you are not walking in the right way, if you're out of order, your home is going to be out of order.
That's true.
So why do you think your house is going to be in order? No marriage is so perfect. Now you're going to have to. That's what that's for. I'm not talking about everybody walking around like this Stepford wives and just, Stepford wives. I don't remember that neither, but I did see it. Like they like that brain. They're like cloned out. Right? Or the Stepford husband. He's like, I'm just perfect. No, it's not like that. But you know what I'm saying. Yeah. The law. You got Yahweh first. And Yahweh's there, and your wife Yahweh. You can work it out.
Yeah. Sometimes when you have, different, no person will have the same personality. So we're gonna have,
exactly.
From now,
exactly.
go on. So, but you have to, sit down as adults, and, sometimes it will solve in a day.
Right.
But sometimes it maybe take years to solve. But at least you guys are together. Work it out.
Exactly. Well, look what happened to Moshe. Now, Moshe knew that he should have circumcised his son. He knew that. He knew, because he knew he was a Hebrew.
Yeah.
But before he could get, Yahweh gave him the message to go get Israel out of Egypt. And what, go ahead, take it over, brother.
No, I was saying Yahweh was going to kill him.
That's right.
And his wife had to take care of it.
So she ran in, didn't she? What was her name? Zipporah.
Did she stand in the breach for him?
She stood in the breach for Moshe. And circumcised that boy like on the spot. And said to him, you have been a bloody husband. You ain't took care of your boy up here. You ain't did what you supposed to do. I bet he was circumcised. He probably got circumcised.
Oh, yeah.
He was circumcised before they put him in that river.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. There you go. I'm just saying.
I just want to go custom.
Okay.
Verse 14. So Hilkiah the priest, and Achaiam, and Akbar, and Shaphan, and Asaiah went unto Huldah the prophetess, the wife of Shalom, the son of Tikvah, the son of Harhas, keeper of the wall room. Now she dwelled in Jerusalem in the college. and they communed with her. Verse 15. And she said unto them, Thus saith Yahweh Elohim of Israel, Tell the man that sent you to me, Thus saith Yahweh, Behold, I will bring evil upon this place and upon the inhabitants thereof, even all the word of the book which the king of Yahudah had read.
That's the prophetess, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because, verse 17, because they have forsaken me and have burned incense unto other gods, that they might provoke me to anger with all the works of their hands. Therefore my wrath shall be kindled against this place, and shall not be quenched. But to the king of Yahudah, which send you to inquire of Yahweh, thus shall you say to him, Thus saith Yahweh Elohim of Israel, as touching the word which thou hast heard. Because thine heart was tender, and thou hast humbled thyself before Yahweh, when thou heardest what I spake against this place, and against the inhabitants thereof, that they should become a desolation and a curse, and hast rent thy clothes, and wept before me, I also have heard thee, saith Yahweh. Behold, therefore I will gather thee unto thy fathers, and thou shalt be gathered into thy grave in peace. And thine eye shall not see all the evil which I will bring upon this place. And they brought the king word again.
see, sometimes, you see what being obedient, what you say, brother? Mm-hmm. But he says his heart was tender. Mm-hmm. That man heart was, Josiah's heart was circumcised. He wanted to be right. He said, oh no, I have erred against my Elohim. That's right? And
you have to acknowledge it.
Right. He humbled himself.
And confess it. Mm-hmm.
And confess it. He may as well confess it.
Yeah. And
so that gave him a what? Extended his life. All these things, just like with Hezekiah. Mm-hmm. King Hezekiah had the same situation, a similar experience. Mm-hmm. When Isaiah came to him. Right?
Yeah, we blessed him and had 15 years.
And 15 more years to his life, right? Mm-hmm. He said, oh, you're going to get your house in order because you're getting ready to die, Hezekiah. Mm-hmm. Now, how would you feel if someone, a man of Elohim walked up to you and said, hey, brother, you might well, I don't know, man, you get your house together. What you mean? Well, get your will right. That's what that means. Get your will, get your insurance, your burial, get your affairs in order so your family, Yahweh did him a favor. Yeah. He took him out. You know, I ain't pay that premium this month. And he gets that premium up. So he gave him, get your affairs in order. You're going to die. But what did Hezekiah do, brother? What did he do?
He prayed. Yeah.
He cried unto him, didn't he?
Yeah, we heard that prayer before the prophet even left out. Sent him right back to him. So
okay.
I had 15 years to
pray. Yeah. That's what we have to do.
We got to pray.
Now, what if the king was haughty?
Say, oh, in the bed.
Now, what if this king was haughty? Right. Because remember now, the men, they went unto the prophetess.
That's right. Well,
and she brought the word back to them. Now, what if the king said, well, I'm not going to regard this word of this woman.
Woman can't tell me nothing. Well, you know, they're not on the level of me, but they got enough to see. But you got to see what's. And she had a husband, right? Yeah. She said she was the wife of Shalom. She was Shalom, so she was married, and she went up there, and she did what Yahweh knew he wanted to do. Yeah. Not what you want to do, what you think. Cause see, sometimes we get caught up in our own minds. And the book said, right. You would think, Yahweh said, you would think I was all like unto you. I'm not like you. Is he like you? He's not like you. You all right?
Let me ask you a question. Who wrote the law?
See, there it is.
Yeah. Oh, how can you put that person who wrote the law, you know what I'm saying, who implement the law?
Right. He gave you the law.
He gave us the law. For you, not for him.
Right.
You can't hold him under the law also.
Right. No, so you see a brother that sees himself, and we're not going to 23 of Hosea, but what we're going to do when he found out. I said Hosea, 2 Kings chapter 23. We're not going to go there, but what we're going to do when they found out that what had taken place, they did what? They kept that Passover. So let's go to. Let's go to chapter 23. But Obadiah, would you start reading that from verse 19?
Yes, sir. 2 Kings chapter 23, verse 19. And all the houses also of the high places that were in the cities of Samaria, which the kings of Israel had made to provoke Yahweh to anger, Josiah took away and did to them according to all the acts that he had done in Bethel.
So when you read the rest of chapter 20, that what preceded this, Josiah went on, not only he went on ahead and carried out reforms, he tore down those idols that they had, those high places and all that stuff. So to cleanse the land. Okay? So that's what he's referring to. Continue, brother.
Yes, sir. Verse 20. And he slew all the priests of the high places that were upon the altars, and burned men's bones upon them, and returned to Jerusalem.
Okay?
And the king commanded all the people, saying, Keep the Passover unto Yahweh your Elohim, as it is written in the book of this covenant. Surely there was not holden such a Passover from the days of the judges that judged Israel, nor in all the days of the kings of Israel, nor of the kings of Judah. But in the 18th year of King Josiah, wherein this Passover was holden to Yahweh in Jerusalem. Moreover, the workers with familiar spirits, and the wizards, and the images, and the idols, and all the abominations that were spied in the land of Judah and in Jerusalem, did Josiah put away, that he might perform the words of the law which were written in the book that Hilkiah the priest found in the house of Yahweh. And like unto him, there was no king before him that turned to Yahweh with all his heart,
Wow.
and with all his soul,
Okay.
and with all his might.
That's the she, man.
That's right. According to all the law of Moshe, neither after him arose there any like him. That's deep.
That's deep, brother.
Yeah, very deep, man.
Notwithstanding, Yahweh turned not from the fierceness of his great wrath, wherewith his anger was kindled against Judah, because of all the provocations that Manasseh had provoked him withal. And Yahweh said, I will remove Judah also out of my sight, as I have removed Israel. And I will cast off this city, Jerusalem, which I have chosen, and the house which I said, my name shall be there.
Read it to 30.
Yes, sir. Now the rest of the acts of Josiah, and all that he did, are they not written in the book of the Chronicles
That's right.
of the kings of Judah?
That's right, they are.
In his days, Pharaoh Necho, king of Egypt, went up against the king of Assyria to the river Euphrates, and King Josiah went against him, and he slew him at Megiddo when he had seen him. And his servants carried him in a chariot dead from Megiddo, and brought him to Jerusalem, and buried him in his own sepulchre. And the people of the land which took Jehoiahaz, and the people of the land took Jehoiahaz, the son of Josiah, and anointed him, and made him king in his father's stead.
See, he died. But see, he died, he's a righteous brother, he's a righteous king of Judah. And see, Yahweh is able to what? Yahweh can raise him up if he so desires. Right? So this is what happens, our people lost track of the law. From the time they went in there from judges, they started, every man doing what they wanted to do according to their own mind, right? So, but that's the Passover. They kept the great Passover. And if you go to Second Chronicles 35, I think you'll see in more detail. I think that's where you can go and you can see more in detail about what was going on, his changes and things he did. And I think they go in more detail about the Passover. But for our purposes, so we saw where it began, Yahweh showing that love. But now, Obi, you said this is a shadow of things to come. And Uriah, you said this is all about pointing, all the things in this book points to the Mashiach.
That's correct.
Right? We talked about the lamb, right?
Yeah.
The Passover lamb. So now, let's go. Let's go and see what we got in Matthew 26 of the Gospel. Let's go to the Gospel of Matthew, brother. And Uriah, let's start there. Because these things are, we will be remiss by having the Passover and not going into the book and reading these things, because that's what we have to do. So let's go to Matthew 26. Let's start in verse. Let me see. Let's go to verse 17. Matthew chapter 26, verse 17.
book of St. Matthew, chapter 26. We'll pick it up at verse 17. Now the first day of the feast of unleavened bread, the disciples came to Yeshua, saying unto him, Where wilt thou that we prepare for thee to eat the Passover?
You see, it got kind of twisted there, isn't it?
Yeah, I know.
They're calling it Passover. Well, they call it something. They call it
Unleavened bread.
Unleavened
Right.
bread.
They're using that term interchangeably.
Yeah.
But they were doing it the same. The people were, with the Mashiach. Let's see. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Verse 18. And he said, Go into the city to such a man and say unto him, The master said, My time is at hand. I will keep the Passover at thy house with my disciples.
So how are you going to tell someone you're not going to keep the Passover because you're in the United States? If Mashiach kept the Passover, he's being obedient.
Yeah, of course.
He's always obedient. He's faithful.
Verse 19. And the disciples did as Yeshua had appointed them, and they made ready the Passover. Now when the eve was come, he sat down with the 12. And as they did eat, he said, Verily I say unto you, that one of you shall betray me. Verse 22. And they were exceeding sorrowful, and began every one of them to say unto him, Adonai, Master, is it I? And he answered and said, He that dippeth his hand with me in the dish, the same shall betray me.
Well, why didn't you just tell that brother when we get to that, get out? Why, you ain't fit to be in my presence. You gotta think about stuff like that. Get out. Get out. See, he got to fulfill our righteousness.
That's it. That's it.
He has to fulfill our righteousness.
Everything is written in the prophet, and he has to fulfill it. The way the prophet spoke.
Exactly. Praise God.
Yeah.
I mean, you would think, hey, man, get out of here. No, I might do that. But he's righteous. He's the Holy One. He's that prophet, right?
Now, you see, I mean, once you're serving the true Elohim, he's not going to stop you.
That's right.
Even though you maybe get innocent corrupt afterward, but he's not going to stop you from keeping the Passover. Yeah.
You got two of them.
That's key.
Yeah,
because you can't tell me that he didn't know that Iscariot was going to.
Yeah, he just said it, right?
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then, like you said, even if you missed the first one, we go back in there. If you don't keep the Passover, we can go back there, but the law says it's such a commandment, you have to keep it, but the only way you're not going to be able to keep it if you were unclean, and that was an exception to these guys digging and said, no, well, you're going to keep the Passover, but it'll be another day. You got 30 days, you're going to keep the Passover, you're Israelite.
Yeah.
So there's no getting away from that.
No. You can't stop on your own.
No, you can't stop on your own.
Verse 24. The Son of Man goeth as it is written of him. But woe unto that man by whom the Son of Man is betrayed. It has been good for that man if he had not been born.
Right. A vessel of dishonor. Right?
I'm telling you, man. 25. Then Judas, which betrayed him, answered and said, Master, is it I? You said unto him, Thou hast said it.
Right. In conversations, you can, most of us of age, you can hear certain things in the conversation, and people can say things. And that meaning, it might slip past you. You might reflect on it later. But you know what? He actually told me that. Some people in some parts of I've heard, I haven't read all of it. The Kabbalists, they said, and I did some studying at one point, but before I came to the truth, this truth, where if you tell a man, I'm going to kill you, if you tell him, I'm going to kill you, right? Well, that's not a sin. And if you kill him, that's fine. But you told him. So I told you I was going to kill you. Now, that's crazy stuff. But you got to understand where they come, what kind of spirit's on them. And that's what their mindset's like. That's the spirit. They got an unclean spirit on it. They don't worship Yahweh. So for them to say something like that, what the word was against the law. well, your law, but not
Not
my
my
law,
law. Yeah.
which is Satan,
Yeah.
right?
Mm.
The bigger culprits, Alistair Crowley, he said, "Do as thou wilt." That's the whole law. So that's what they were about.
Do as I will. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we gotta understand, you may not consider yourself doing certain things, but you may be part of that crowd too. You just haven't officially joined up. Do as thou wilt. You know? But again, that's just something to think about. But continue, brother.
Verse 26. And as they were eating, Yeshua took bread and blessed it and brake it and give it to the disciples and said, "Take, eat, this is my body." And he took the cup and gave thanks and gave it to them, saying, "Drink you all of it, for this is my blood of the New Testament, which is shed for many for the remission of sins. But I say unto you, I will not drink henceforth of this fruit of the vine until that day when I drink it new with you in my Father's kingdom."
Okay, praise God. So we see here what Yeshua, the Master, the Son, right? He's now telling his disciples, "Hey, you do this in remembrance of me. You keep the Passover. But this is the New Testament. This is the new covenant. My blood has been shed for." Moshe was the mediator of the first covenant, right? He's the mediator of this perfect covenant, right? But it got to be shed with blood. It's symbolic. It's symbolism here. So, okay, but continue, brother. We're going to go at this point. How much time we have here? We're 11. Okay, at this time, we could have gone a lot more, but we had some technical difficulties a little bit. But that's going to conclude our reading of the out of the book of the law, and the prophets, and the gospel, of course, regarding Yahweh's Passover. And at this point, we're going to end our remote broadcast right now, and we're going to go ahead and try to enjoy the Passover. And we'd like to thank everybody for tuning in with us on this Passover. And I just give it over to Brother Ellie Uriah. Anything you want to say before we tune out?
That's what we have read, about leaven. We have to, not only get it out of our heart, not our house, but also out of our heart. Okay, and I know it takes a little growth for all of us. If we fall, don't worry about it. The Most High is a forgiving Elohim. Let's proceed and continue, continue to take the righteous steps that is written in the law, and just follow Yeshua. Because he's a perfect example for us today, to walk, in the law of the Most High. I know I don't want to keep too long, because time is upon us.
Okay, praise
That's
God.
it.
Obadiah.
Yeah, no, we just Elliot just read the significance of everything, and before Elliot blessed the sacrament, Yeshua in verse 26, he said, as they were eating, Yeshua took bread and blessed it and brake it and gave it to the disciples and said, "Take, eat, this is my body."
Right.
And he took the cup and gave thanks and gave it to them, saying, "Drink you all of it, for this is my blood of the New Testament or covenant."
Right.
So we understand that his blood is what joined us into the covenant, and that his blood is what covers us.
Yes, right.
And this is what is going to allow us to
pass over from the wrath.
Yes.
Praise God. And I think it goes at home. You should have your unleavened bread and wine to keep this Passover if you're not physically here. And we thank Yahweh that He gives us opportunity to broadcast this evening. And we're going to be keeping the Feast of Unleavened Bread tomorrow evening, sundown, to continue with those required feast days. And we're over here. I think if you look at the Facebook, you see where we are. But again, we're here. And with that, Brother Obi, Diane? Praise God. Hey, brother. Brother Uriah. We're just gonna say again, shalom, and hopefully we'll see you tomorrow evening.